Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to another Flycast Partner / Ivanti webinar. My name is Rich Longo of Flycast Partners, and I would like to thank you for joining us for the Power of Unified IT series. Now, today's webinar is the fourth installment of our 5-part series. Today, we are going to address Ivanti's endpoint security, presented by Ivanti's very own Jed Wilson. Now, Jed has been a sales engineer, a consultant, a support engineer, and technical support for Ivanti and Landesk since 2006. He has hands-on experience and knowledge with AppSense, Shavlak, and Xtraction tools. His knowledge even transcends into the Ivanti's IT service management and asset management solutions. Jed has had a front-row seat to the unified IT transformation at Ivanti, and who better to explain than Jed? Before we get started, Jed, let me introduce Flycast Partners. Flycast Partners is here to deliver a seriously amazing IT experience. Founded and staffed by personnel that have many years of experience in the IT space, we took the best ideas from these collective experiences and added the best components necessary to grow and become a leading value-added reseller in the North American IT market. We offer best-in-class implementation services and training in IT service management, IT asset management, IT operations management, enterprise service management, and workload automation spaces using ITIL best practice. Our professional services team can easily scale up or down to meet the IT needs of any customer, regardless of size, complexity, or budgetary restrictions. We offer implementation services both on-site and remote, as well as training to help reinforce your company's long-term IT success. Our ongoing remote administration support service offerings will enable your organization to focus on your normal day-to-day operations, saving you both time and money. And at Flycast Partners, our motto is customers for life. We want your business for life, folks. That is true. So feel free to call us at 844-FLYCAST. That's 844-359-2278, and talk to one of our IT specialists with any of your questions. Or you can simply visit our website and chat with one of our IT specialists Monday through Friday during normal business hours. This is just one of many, many weekly webinars that we host here at Flycast Partners, so I definitely encourage you to check out the upcoming webinars in the upcoming weeks and share those with your coworkers. Check out our live events. We have a road show coming up in the beginning, towards the middle of September, going through November, traveling across the country with Ivanti, showing different aspects of Ivanti, playing games, video games with you, and feeding you and getting a chance to interact with your peers. So I would like to invite you to a city near you to sign up. Check out our website for researching additional tools you might be interested in, training options, various data sheets, and white papers. And during our series, in this particular webinar series, we're doing something a little different than we've done in the past. We're actually running a contest, all right? So during this series, we'll flash a random code on the screen for a couple of seconds. When you see this code, simply type it back to the host privately, type it back to me through the chat, and you will receive a Starbucks gift card in the morning, tomorrow morning to be exact. You'll have exactly 2 minutes only, to type that code after it is shown. It will be invalid after that time period. So please take the chance to type that in within the 2 minutes that are provided. Otherwise, it will be void and null for you at that time. For all those that attend all 5 webinars in this series, you'll automatically be entered into a drawing for an Oculus. If you have any questions during our presentation today, please type them in the Q&A section of this WebEx, and I'll ask them for you on your behalf during today's presentation live with Jed. Now, Jed, it's all yours, sir. I'm going to turn this over to you.
Thank you, Rich. Hey, it's wonderful to be here. I appreciate everybody who's joined us for this webinar. We'll go ahead and get started. Today, I want to start off talking a little bit about who we are at Ivanti, though. Ivanti was established in 1985. We have headquarters in Salt Lake City, where we work with over 27,000 different customers. We manage 47,000 different endpoints. 47 million, excuse me. Ivanti helps organizations reduce risks and costs associated with managing their IT environment and supporting business and their end users. What makes us unique is our approach to changing how IT works, helping organizations identify these critical functions with shared data, processes, and automation. This is what we call the Ivanti DNA. This makes us, just like your DNA, this makes us who we are. And unique in the industry is the result of the organic work we've done over the years, as well as our strategic acquisitions we've made, each of which add our main areas, our five main areas of focus. So let's talk a little bit about the Ivanti advantage. We have five major pillars that we've brought together. We call unified IT. They're represented as security, UEM, IT asset management, IT service management, and identity. Foundational to those is our integrated and automated automation tools, and this is all available in the cloud or on-premise. Also foundational is our reporting and analytics engine, what we call Xtraction, which I'm going to show you in just a minute, and that helps us integrate all these things in one place and helps us provide that unified IT perspective. If you look at the top, you're going to see, we'll help you discover your devices. We're going to provide insight. We're also going to provide help you take action. That's our goal here with our unified IT solution. So today we're going to talk about unified endpoint management. We'll touch a little bit on a couple things as we go forward. But our unified endpoint management capabilities are focused on the device side of things, and that's the device and the user side of managing your devices. That's going to include your user workspace management, which is going to handle the user profile data, the user's files. But and then we're going to talk about Endpoint Manager, which is going to handle the device side of things. That's going to be your OS, your drivers, all the software and patches associated with that. We're going to help you manage that, and then foundationally, we're going to underpinning that's going to be our process workflow automation and also our reporting and analytics dashboarding tool. So what is unified endpoint manager? So we're going to break it down into two different parts. We're going to have the user workspace management. It's going to be in charge of handling those user profiles and data, and then we're going to have endpoint manager that's going to handle the applications and the operating system and all of its associated software. So what are we seeing in organizations like yours? Biggest thing is change is the status quo. The industry is changing. IT is changing. We want to help you know your environment, increase or maintain user productivity, maintain and resolve your existing machines out there, your existing devices out there, help you keep your environment secure. Challenges we see, lack of resources and lack of visibility. So we're really here to talk about how we're going to modernize and unify your IT. We want to make IT look better. We want to make IT operate better. We want to make IT more strategic. The industry now is seeing an increase in multiple areas of endpoint management. UEM, that's going to handle all of our device side and all our user information. Digital transformations leading everyone to the cloud and changing the way they do things there. We want to help you consolidate your vendors. We want to be the one vendor. We want to integrate across all of our products. We want to integrate all of our products across IT disciplines, and then help you manage any modern OSs in addition to your Windows 10s and its features updates, your Mac OSs, your Android, your iOS, any of those things that come along. We want to help you maintain that. The way that people work is evolving. The way we manage them is also evolving. IT in many organizations and industries is becoming more flexible, and solutions to help you manage all those variables and when it comes to how your organization works. So, questions I want you to think about while we're doing this are: what are some variables you have to deal with your users? How is your solution holding up, and what can you do better? How are you managing desktops, laptops, tablets, smartphones? Are they all in the same tool, or do you have to go to a different tool? Are they in an office or are they remote? Are they company owned, or they bring your own device? Do they require a full agent? Are they MDM? Are they both? So this is the type of things I want you to think about as we go forward and we can talk about. One of the things we want to provide most is visibility. We mentioned it before, but in today's world of big data analytics, what's even more important is to know how we can help your business. The business can't see what you do, and then you didn't do it. It's important to show how well you're doing your job and how well the company is being productive and safe. If you just cleaned your house and you left for the day and you came back and your house was still clean, that doesn't mean nothing happened. It just means you don't have any visibility in the things that did. So we want to help you eliminate that in in your enterprise. But ask yourself, what areas of IT do you find difficult to see into? How do you see your data? Through reports, through dashboards? Who in your organization isn't getting the right data for their needs? Where we can help with UEM. We can help you discover. We can provide insight. We can take action on those. One of the ways that Ivanti can help you better than anyone else is the way we discover pretty much everything about everything. We provide insight on what you have and how it's being used and allow you to drive deeper and so you can make the right decisions. And more than anything, we want to help you take action to resolve those issues and improve those outcomes. Talk about UEM capabilities. Ivanti Endpoint Manager. So we're not going to go over everything, but there's a few features that make us a leader, and there are a few that we'll dive into so we can emphasize what makes us unique. But we're going to talk Endpoint Manager, discovery and inventory, software distribution, provisioning, that's your OS imaging, dashboarding and analytics, mobile device management, remote control, power management. We're going to put those on the same console. We're going to put them in the same tool, and it's going to give you the ability to do all those things. So when we talk about discovering and managing all your devices, so whether it doesn't matter what type it is, if it's a server, if it's a workstation, if it's a tablet, if it's a phone, any OS, we're going to be able to do those things. We're going to support all your common network protocols, including SNMP. We're going to actively discover. You can schedule those things out. We're also going to passively discover. Passive discovery is really the only way to know about all those assets. Passive discovery is also nearly impossible to avoid. It helps us see everything, even if it's, unless, of course, it's turned off. But once it comes on your network, you're going to see that. You're going to be able to take action, whether it's managing your devices that you know you should have or taking action against devices that maybe shouldn't be there. One of our customers who enjoys knowing more about their machines. We not only can see what they're talking about here, but we can see a full log of all the actions, as well all the software installed on each machine. We can help you automate processes. This is one way you could certainly please a change control board. Make all your software installations and updates automated and routine. Automate large or especially regular projects. Whether that's patching or software distribution. We're going to want to simplify your data visibility. One of the key ingredients to all of our solutions is Xtraction, which is ideal for building business-level dashboards. We have connectors not only for all of our products, so you can build dashboards and span multiple areas of IT, but also have connectors to many different vendors' data too. There's questions to ask yourself. What kind of data would you like to see from IT? How would having dashboards like this reduce your vulnerabilities in your organization? Downtime is a bite. And usually either costs you money or revenue. In this case, when Discount Tire can't get a customer back on the road, they quickly lose the immediate sale and possibly the customer. So, what does downtime do to your business? When was the last time you had a major outage or failure? How long did it take you to rectify it? This is the Ivanti Endpoint Manager console. As you can see, if you look up at the top, we're going to manage all your devices, like I said, whether they're Windows Server, Windows Desktop, whether they're Mac OS, maybe they're Linux machines. Maybe you need a solution for MDM to manage your Android and iOS devices. Also, if you look down in the lower left, it's not about just device management. We're going to provide a number of different tools, distribution, power management, provisioning, reporting and monitoring, security and compliance. It's all there. And admins can even see all these devices and how they tie back to those individual machines. Most other solutions are going to require you to go to multiple management consoles or to manage all those devices. We're going to do that all in one place. What we're saying here is, we're in just the beginning stages of major PCOSs being managed through MDM or EMM tools. This is continue to grow, as indicated by our Gartner. But for right now, we have you covered. We'll continue to grow with the tried and true methods of agent-based deployment management, and the depth of management it provides, but also the MDM features that the OS vendors release as APIs. Now, we're going to talk a little bit about the 6 areas where we compare, and then we'll go ahead and start there. So, number 1 is for our 6 key differentiators. I'm going to list 3 right now, and then we'll kick over to the last 3 here in just a minute. The first 3 are listed here, with the top one being true UEM. Many say they can do UEM, but they are using different tools to do it and different management paradigms. We've been a leader among the giants of client. When it comes to market leadership, we've been among the leader of the giants of client management have continued to lead the way in providing greatest management across most platforms, OSs, and environments. Because we gather, and then depth of data and insight. Because we gather such detailed data from all these devices and can manage so many aspects of IT, we have incredibly deep data and can provide the insight to you like no other. We mentioned we're the only one of the true UEM vendors, and that's because we support more platforms. We do it from a single console or management experience. Notice that the other self-proclaimed UEM vendors either don't support several endpoint platforms or they have to do it through different tools or management paradigms. Well, to complete the picture of our differentiators, here are the remaining three. We talked about true EM, but not only do we unify the endpoint management, we want to simplify it into a single vendor. Our mission is to unify all of IT and integrate it with multiple IT disciplines, either from our own products or with others, to give you a better picture of your IT and to find a way to manage, automate, integrate, and streamline your operations and costs. Closer relationships. So we cherish our close relationships with our customers. We have a strong product advisory council and executive customer council. We also have solid NPS scores, and many of our customers consider us a partner in providing them with the solutions that make them look good and save them money. ELA. Finally, we have the ELA. It gives you the advantage of putting together more robust solutions that break down the barriers of IT and provide greater value to your organization. It also helps you build your solutions without having to go back and ask for more every time you need to do something. So we're going to a little bit about the evolution to Endpoint Manager. So you can see here from this slide, Endpoint Manager and Environment Manager. We break it out two different ways, but one of the areas of innovation from Ivanti, it comes from unifying IT around the user and his or her workspace by integrating features from our Workspace Management product, Environment Manager, into Endpoint Manager product. By doing so, we are creating a new level of UEM product tailored to increasing the productivity of users and staff alike. The combination of leading endpoint management and workspace management is now unified Endpoint Manager. This particular product will make Windows 10 migrations and automated processes simpler and easier to handle. So with that said, we're going to go ahead and we'll move into the main part of the demonstration. I apologize for the difficulties that are surrounding my audio again, and let's go ahead and get started. Perfect. All right, so I typically start off with when I'm demonstrating UEM, I try to start off with Xtraction. The reason I start off with Xtraction is because all these tools, one, we use it to foundationally integrate with all of our other tools, but these are going to generate a lot of data going forward. One of the things that you're going to have to do is be able to manage that data. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to take that data and we're going to put it in a single place. Now, when we're talking to UEM, there's no data warehousing here. There's no data replication. We're going to talk to that database directly. So as soon as that data gets updated, maybe with your security scans, we're going to be able to show that data in our Xtraction console really easily. Now, what I'm going to do right now is I have mine set to rotate through some of my content, but I'm going to turn that off right now. And I'm going to go ahead and switch over here to a different dashboard, and I'll give you a quick idea of some of the things you can do with Xtraction. Now, first thing you can see is I have a bunch of different components here that are showing you different information about my patch environment. You can see if you look up at this component right here up top, it says Service Pack Critical and High Patches. I'm missing 19 in my environment. Well, I can click here and it'll easily drill down and tell me information about what patches I'm missing and where I'm missing it. You can see I've got Windows 7 here, a couple different Windows 10 devices, a server, and it's giving me information of not only about those devices but also the patch themselves. So I can go ahead and I can take that, and I can also take this data, and if I want to filter down, I can do that really quickly by going, if I want to just see my Microsoft Critical patches, I can click on here and add a filter for those things, and then it takes me down from 19 down to 9. Once I click on those 9 patches, it's going to show me just those information about those patches that are required in my environment, where they are some Microsoft Critical patches. I can actually export this data really quickly by clicking here on Export, and it'll give me some information about the formats that I can provide. I can choose to do those as an alert. I can have them delivered automatically. I can also schedule those to be delivered. I can actually create a link directly to this dashboard by clicking here and creating a link. If I paste that into a new tab here, it's going to open up that Xtraction dashboard wherever I got it. That means I can provide this data, I can provide this information to someone that they can go out and they can get this data for themselves when they choose to. But I have the same capabilities. If I want to come in here, I have the same ability to drill down that I have anywhere else. But let's go ahead and show you really quickly how to create a dashboard so that you can get an idea how that works. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to just create a
quick antivirus dashboard in my environment. And what I'm doing here, just a way of explanation, is I picked antivirus in this situation just because it's in the A's and I don't have to scroll through a list. But what I'm doing functionally is I am just dragging and dropping. And now that I've got pie charts everywhere, I want to change that around because that's not going to be good enough for me. I want to liven it up a little bit. So what I can do is I can go ahead and I can change each one of these components, and I can add some I can choose the way I'm going to see that information. Finally, I'm going to go ahead and add a few columns right here. Let's go ahead and add those. And then at the end, after just a few clicks and dragging and dropping, I'm going to have a complete view of my antivirus scenario in my environment that's all available to me in there. Anyway, so that's a little bit about Xtraction. I'm going to go ahead and move into the main product right now, and that's what we call Ivanti Endpoint Manager. So, first thing about Ivanti Endpoint Manager you need to know is it can be installed as an on-premise solution, or we can run it as a hosted solution. That's available to you. Primarily, what we're going to do here is we're going to be deploying agents to it, and these agents are going to have a number of schedules that they're going to use to check in on. So those devices are going to check in. They're going to do a vulnerability scan. It's going to tell us if they need patches or other security-related information. It's going to do an inventory scan, provides a really complete inventory record that has 12,000 different attributes associated with it. And it's also going to help us do some software. Now, one of the things that you don't see that's running on mine is what we call our cloud services appliance. And our cloud services appliance allows all these agent functions to happen over the internet. So if you have traveling end users, maybe they're sales or a road warrior type, or maybe they're just people who go work from home, or maybe they're on the road a little bit, but you need to send a patch to them. Maybe they're on Wi-Fi in Starbucks. You're still going to be able to do that through that cloud services appliance, and all these agent functions are going to be enabled there. Other agent functions we have in here. So if I look at my remote control, I can log in here really quickly. I apologize for my super clicky keyboard. Anyway, the things I can do in here, I have Ivanti antivirus running, so I can manage it from a security perspective there. I can also come in here and I can open up what we call our portal manager. And our portal manager gives me the ability to distribute software on a self-service basis. All these things I've made available to my end users. You can see I have some applications available to my end users. I have a stream document available. I have links available. I have one of those dashboards available for me. So if I go ahead and I switch, you can see here it's going to link me over to my help desk software right now, my ISM solution or my Xtraction. It's going to take me to all those places. I can instantly provide links to those things. I can also install software. So if I wanted to make Google Chrome available for my user to install themselves, they can go in here and they can click on it and they can download and install that software. So that's a couple of the quick agent functions you're going to see. We're going to go into a few of those as we go forward. One of the big benefits of this tool, though, is it's really integrated into all your other environments. This is going to help you provide all that software to these machines, whether they're patches, whether they're the operating system changes, or software itself. First thing I like to show is I like to talk a little bit about patch and compliance. Now, if I look at patch compliance, when I come in here, you can see it gives me a little information in the same console, or I can use my Xtraction dashboards. But as I mentioned before, my devices are going to be checking in for that vulnerability scan. They're going to be sending that data up to the server, and they're going to be reporting what they need. Well, if I click on Detected here, it's going to tell me in my environment which patches are required. And I'm going to go ahead and switch over to All Items to my Mac OS devices. I don't have any currently running. But you'll see here that I have a number of different patches available to me. Vendor-wise, I have patches from Google. I have patches from Microsoft. I have a PuTTY patch. We provide more third-party patch content than any other vendor out there. So if you're looking for an easy way to patch your machines from a console that discovers everything and manages everything, this is going to help you do that. We're going to provide that content, based on whether it's a security item, what important high critical severities. Here's my Windows 10 updates. If I want my feature updates, if I want to treat those as a patch. We also can do other things. This is what we call security thread. It's recommending I disable autoplay on Windows. Now I can choose what I want to scan and what I want to repair, what I want to install. But those are all going to be available to me in the same console, and I can do those things very easily. I just need to choose what I want to scan for, and then I need to choose how I want to install the update. Easy ways of installing updates. We have what we call autofix, which is very WSUS-like, in that if I set the autofix flag, that's going to be like publishing it. And I can tell that, and when those devices scan in for that designated vulnerability scan, they'll also install the update. Also in here, where we differ from WSUS is, one, I'm going to give you all that third-party content, but I'm also going to give you the ability to use what we call scopes. And scopes are just selections of devices. You can see I have some defined in here by device type, workstation or servers. I have some designated by location. I have some that are based on the department. And I can distribute software, I can distribute patches based on those scopes, and I can control and I can also do from a security perspective, I can control what people see based on those scopes. But AutoFix gives me a very simple and easy way to start installing those patches, and I can do that. I can actually automate that. If I wanted to, I could say every Microsoft critical vulnerability that comes in, I just want to trust, I want to automatically go out. I could do that. I could base that on any vendor. I could base that on any severity. I could have that content set automatically, have it AutoFix, and then when my devices check in, they're going to automatically install. I also have the ability to schedule that content to go out using what we call a repair task. What it allows me to do is it gives me various targeting ideas, whether they're dynamic or they're static listed. But it allows me to schedule when I want those patches to go out, when I want that content to install. I can say, hey, let's install this on Friday at 6:33 p.m., and I want to repeat every week until this is installed. Now, when I do that, though, I can single select here. I can multi-select and do the same thing. But I also have the ability to use what we call groups, and groups are just containers of content, just like a folder you would see in Windows. So if I go into my custom groups here, you'll see an example of that. If I want to look at my laptops here, I can say, hey, you know what? I want to schedule everything that's contained within this group, and I want it to go out on the same schedule. And then anything I put in that group going forward, when I tell it to repeat, would go out with that. It's a really simple way to get patching and up and going. Now, I mentioned rollout projects in a previous slide, and it's the way we automate that patch automate that patch scenario. If you have a change control board or a strict change control process where you have to test things before they go out, maybe you need a test, a pilot, a 3-tiered patch process, this is going to help you do that. Now, this is a rollout project that I have created with another customer, but you can see it's a 6-tiered server patch process. I'm going to start off by scanning my servers. I'm going to approve that content to scan. Then I'm going to patch my test servers, my pilot servers. Then I'm going to go low criticality, medium, and then high. Well, what it allows me to do is take advantage of all the existing ways of doing things inside of Ivanti, the Endpoint Manager, but automate that and help move that content through that multi-tiered patch process. So if I wanted to, I could have it set my AutoFix flags for me if I want to do that. I could have it create and start my repair tasks if that's my preference. But I also have the ability to define a success rate for this. So I could say, hey, for my test Windows servers, I want 70% of my targets to be no longer vulnerable before I consider the content successful. That gives me a chance to test it everywhere through my test servers and before I move it to my pilot servers. But also in my rollout project here, I have an approval phase. So once I hit that 70% success criteria, it's going to notify an approver. They're going to come in here and they're going to approve that content before it goes to my pilot Windows servers. Anyway, so that's briefly how we're going to take advantage of. We're going to automate that patch process to help you go through that. The next thing I typically talk about in this demo is just how to distribute software. Now, things we can do here with software is we can distribute software to Linux, Mac OS, including an agent style or MDM style or a co-management solution there. We can distribute software to your mobile OSs, including Android and iOS. I've already shown you a couple of those universal packages and linked and stream documents. And then finally, Windows packages. We're going to help you distribute patch files, executables, MSIs, PowerShells, script host and store applications. We also give you these nice little these things called actions, and these are based on a PowerShell that we've developed. You can see here, I can manipulate files and directories. I can launch software different ways, map shares, work with the registry, services. It's going to give me a way to do things. And what I can do is I can choose however I want to use those, and I can use what we call bundles to combine those into a combination installer that'll help me get through these complex installs. Maybe if they require a config file associated with a couple different installs, I can do that. Well, let's go ahead and take a look at one of these packages. One of the ones I was just showing you is our Google Chrome Enterprise installer. And what I'm going to do here is once this finishes loading, I will come in and we'll go ahead and take a look at one of these packages. Now, this is an MSI package, so I have a few different options that the other ones don't. But I have a name, I have a description. I'm distributing it from a UNC share, but if I want to use web share, I can do that. And that's particularly useful when we're working with Linux or Mac OS, right? But then I just define the MSI I want to install. Now, in this case, I have it's an MSI, so I get to use MSI exec to control it, and I get all these nice options up here. But if it was an executable, I'd need to put in my command line down here, as you can see that. Now, for many packages, if they're a single file installer, that's all I need to do. This one, however, this requires a couple additional files as part of the MSI to install properly, and I've defined them here. And you can see I have a cab file and an MST. If this is Office 365, I may have thousands of files I need to distribute with that, and I just need to add them here to do that. Now, for pretty basically every package, that's all you really need to do. But we also have the ability to make things a little more complex and add a little more functionality there. If we want to add dependencies or prerequisites, we can do that. If you need the software to install run as a specific user, we can give you that capability. In mine, I have a logo specified as metadata, but if I want to add screenshots to make it very App Store-like, I could do that. But that's a couple of ways we're going to install software. At that point, I just need to create a task, a schedule to send that out, and then I need to choose whether I want it delivered mandatory or optional, put it in my portal, and then I'd have it delivered to my end users. The last thing I typically talk about, high points in this demo, is operating system provisioning. Operating system provisioning gives us the ability to use to distribute any OSs to my endpoints, and allows me to do it from the new MDM style. If you're familiar with Mac OS, and we need to, and we're going to do an in-place upgrade essentially, or Windows 10. If I don't want to treat it as a patch, I can update my OSs that way. But we're going to give you the ability to do that rip and replace method that everybody's kind of familiar with. So imagine a scenario where you need to migrate your machines from Windows 7 to Windows 10. Okay. Well, in that scenario, I need to do a few things. I need to communicate with Windows 7. I need to be able to back up the user's information. I need to pull down their files and their profile and all the personalization they've done. I need to back that up. And then I need to boot it into my imaging environment. Now, the most common imaging environment anymore is WinPE. We're going to give you a couple different ways to do that. The industry standard ones, we're going to support Pixie. We're going to support your USB boot, maybe an ISO boot. But we also have what we call vBoot. And vBoot is going to allow me to boot into that imaging environment, WinPE, without ever touching the device. I don't have to be in front of the keyboard. I don't have to have 12. I don't have to insert my USB key and change the BIOS. I can just send this template down after backing up my software with our Environment Manager tool. And then once we reboot, I don't even have to be in front of the computer to do it. This also means that I could put an imaging task in someone's environment and have them do it when they're ready. But that allows me to no touch, start this template to start an imaging action. At that point, after we boot out of Windows 7 into WinPE, I can do things around name templating, or I can have it create my partition based on the hardware detection. Then I'm going to lay down my image. Now, on mine, I have ImageX because I prefer a file-based utility, but we prefer other utilities. We have a sector-based utility if you want to use that, but we'll support any other vendors too if that's your preference. I'm going to lay down the image, then I'm going to inject my antenna file. I'm going to prepare my drive for first boot. And then I'm going to do what we call hardware-independent imaging. Hardware-independent imaging allows us to connect to a driver share, detect which hardware is on the machine, download the proper drivers for those, and install them at that time. Then I'm going to configure my target OS, which is going to reboot into Windows 10, and then start provisioning again. I'll install my agent. I'll do a second pass of hardware-independent imaging in case there were any drivers I wasn't able to get in WinPE. Then I'm going to do some things with software. One of the things is install map software. So we already know what software is on these devices. We have the ability to create a software mapping that says, I created an installation package. If we say, let's assume Office 2013 in this case. I could create a package for Office 2013. I could create a mapping for 2013. I don't have to map from 2013 to 2013, though. I could map from Office 2013 to Office 365 if I wanted to. And once it detects that mapping, it'll reinstall the software based on the mappings that you've created. Then I'm going to have a join domain. You can see I'm passing variables in here for my passwords. And then I can patch the system. And then I can install software. I can do whatever I want here. There's tons of different actions you can perform inside here to add to each one of these areas and interact with those devices and tear out your Windows 7 to put on the new Windows 10 and to configure that and install it. We're going to give you lots of different options to do it. Environment Manager, which I mentioned briefly in the PowerPoint, is going to give us the ability to take all those user settings off that machine, to back them up to a server, and then when this migration action happens, to put them all back. We also support that MDM style, like I told you. This is a Mac OS image that I have set up. You can see it's going to install Mojave, and then I'm going to install my base agent. I have the option of erasing the drive first, preserving the container if I want. Then I'm going to do an NVM enrollment with my Mac OS machines. And then I'm going to install software. Those are all options we're going to give you through provisioning. Now you can see also, I'm just barely scratching the surface of what this tool can do. There's many other options if you look down here. A lot of them are supporting tools to make it go, but we're going to give you all those functions that you would expect to have an endpoint management tool and a user workspace management tool. But that's the end of my scenario of my webinar here. I appreciate y'all listening to me. I apologize for the audio issues. Rich, I'll hand it back to you for the last 3 minutes to see if we have any Q&A.
Oh, no problem at all, Jed, and no problem at all with the audio. It happens. It's technology. That's the way it works. So far, I don't have any direct questions from anyone. Wait a minute. Here we go. I take that back. So it looks like I don't need SCCM anymore. Am I correct in thinking this? And that comes from Razzie.
Absolutely. We'll completely replace SCCM for you and do all those functions, and we'll do it in a unified manner. Support a lot of OSs that SCCM's won't manage in this case.
All right. And any further questions, folks, go ahead and type them in right now. We still have a couple more minutes of this presentation, and we'd be happy to get those answers for you. Razzie says, thank you for your answer. They figured that. So they appreciate it. A couple folks really appreciate your presentation. They're thanking you for that as well. So great presentation today, Jed. A lot of information crammed in a very short period of time. So folks, if you want additional information, please reach out to us. We'll be happy to get a demo for you and your organization and additional information. Call us at 844-FLYCAST. That's 844-359-2278. You can email us at info@flycastpartners.com or chat with one of our IT experts on our website. They're Monday through Friday, normal business hours. I'll be happy to talk to you. With that being said, Jed, thank you so much for your time today. Very much appreciated.
Thank you for having me, Rich. We'll talk to you soon.
Excellent. And the audience, until our next webinar, have a great week and a great weekend.
Take care, everyone.